Today's podcast is brought to you by Auto Armour, Central Mississippi's premier automotive detail and ceramic coating shop, located at 4394 Mangum Drive in Flowood, Mississippi. You can check them out online at AutoArmourMS.com and on social media at AutoArmourMS. That's AutoArmourMS, located right there in Flowood, Mississippi, behind Merit Health Hospital. See you soon at Auto Armour in Flowood. Jackson, Mississippi, and all surrounding areas. You have tuned in to the free-range human show of choice. Your daily dose of reality radio starts now. We are live in the Generator Power Solutions studio. This is Clay Edwards. This is the Clay Edwards Show. And I've got a full complement of guests in the studio with me this morning. Really excited about this.
Am I still a guest, or am I like the annoying neighbor that shows up every so often?
Yeah. Hey, look, Tuesdays, this is as much the Therese Apel show as it is the Clay Edwards Show. So, of course, Therese Apel is here. And we've got a gym, a true hidden gem here in Mississippi.
And he means like a GEM gym.
Yeah, GEM.
It sounded like gym, like where you go.
Like a diamond.
Right.
A diamond type gym. Right across from me, Mr. Buddy Brown, Madison, Mississippi's very own.
You might have seen his videos.
Yeah, to say a viral sensation would be underselling him.
Sure.
70 million views on YouTube alone?
Something like that. We're up to 300 million for everything. It's been crazy.
Yeah. It had. I mean, close to across the platforms, 2 million followers, give or take.
About like that, yeah. Little old Mississippi.
That's wild, man.
Is that weird? Like when you sit there and think about the fact that 70 million people or 70 million views have happened, and like they're actually looking at your face and listening to your voice, and it's like them and you.
That's why we got bodyguards, right?
Don't we all need them these days?
I was looking through my YouTube stuff, just where I upload this and do my videos, and it was like 360-something thousand total views over the last 2 years. I'm like, I'm rich.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not. I think those views paid me about $400 all in. But neither here nor there. But it's just wild to think that many eyeballs saw something I said. But then you take it to your level, and it's just like, what?
Yeah, it's really cool, and I love doing Mississippi proud. It's this is where I come from, and a lot of folks it's like, man, where is this guy from that he thinks he can just talk like this? I'm like, I'll tell you, come on down.
Well, so how the Facebook algorithm feeds you what it wants to.
Yeah,
it'll kind of give you little bits and nibbles of stuff, and it's like, oh, you watch this video, so now I'm gonna feed you this video. Ashamedly, I stumbled across you through the algorithm about a month ago. And I was watching your videos where you do when you're your bar there at the house and where you film your videos, and I noticed this Mississippi that. I'm like, I think this guy might be from Mississippi. Mm-hmm. I was like, but I feel like I should know this guy. Like, how do I not know this guy?
Well, and I think when I found you, I don't remember what platform it was, but I can't remember the song, but whatever you did, I thought, I bet this guy's from Mississippi, and I went to your profile, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he's down the road,"
Yeah. So, man, you grew up in Madison.
Yeah.
And you're a big baseball guy.
Yeah.
I saw the story about making your parents take you to play throw balls or whatnot on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve Day.
Yeah.
That's the most Mississippi thing.
It is, man. We're a baseball state, and I got two boys that are just as crazy into it that I was.
How old are they now?
They're 11 and 12.
Oh, they're right in the thick of it.
Oh my gosh, we don't have a weekend free till June 15th. I'm sitting here trying to plan a hunt or something, and I'm like, honey, is this free? 6 months from now, because we got nothing. Completely baseball.
Is it all tournaments and all that stuff? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I have to ask, who's your team?
In
baseball.
In baseball.
Mm-hmm.
College baseball or
yes.
like baseball?
Yes. Who do you pull for?
I don't follow college baseball, to be honest with you. It is, I grew up, split Texas Rangers and Atlanta Braves because we don't have a baseball team in Mississippi. I played football at State, so I guess obviously I'm going to cheer for State. I still have not seen Duty Noble, which is something I'm planning on taking the boys to see this year. So we'll obviously cheer for them then, but it's definitely a Major League Baseball team at our house.
Well, I'm a Vanderbilt girl, so this year was intense. Clay and I were able to keep it civil.
So you talked about a split the Rangers and Braves. I may be the only Cardinals and
Cardinals and Braves. Yeah.
Cardinals and Braves guy. Of course, I grew up in a baseball house too, and my dad diehard. Well, he wasn't necessarily a diehard fan of any team, but it was always TBS with the Braves and WGN with the Cubs. That's what was on.
Yeah.
I say, the hell, I may be the only person who pulled for the Cardinals and the Cubs. I just like good baseball.
Them's fighting words right there, boy.
And I don't watch too much of it anymore. I'm just, pro sports in general is kind of
Well, there's that whole thing. I agree with you on that completely.
But I mean, I'll still watch championship games like last night, Georgia, Bama. Can I just let out a thank you, Georgia?
I don't think anybody on here was pulling for Bama, so you're probably safe.
Yeah,
there's two of y'all out there.
I think the funny thing is, like, generally I've got a dog in the hunt, but Georgia is one that I just have no feelings about either way. My dad likes Alabama because he lived in Ohio for, a good part of the last few years. So he liked all the SEC teams. And of course, Alabama was the one that everybody knew. So Dad has all these Alabama things. But last night I couldn't really care who won. And it was weird. It was like, why can't I pick a team? Why am I not into this? And it's probably just because when you pull for SEC teams all the time and they're always winning, it's like, well, somebody's going to win and it's fine. There are people.
I was telling Buddy about this meme that I just posted a second ago, and it was I stole it from somebody on Facebook. I think Michael Bracewell. It's a picture of a map. The red and the crimson is Go Dogs, Roll Tide. The tan is the rest of the SEC states. It says sick of y'all.
Yeah.
and the rest is sick of the SEC.
Right.
And I'm definitely in the sick of y'all category. I could have cared less, honestly, but I did like seeing the Kirby Smart kind of stuff. And Stetson Bennett did play down at Jones County. So
did you hear them call him an undersized quarterback last night?
Oh yeah, they said he's 5'4".
He's 5'9".
But he
maybe.
Said,
well, he couldn't get away from that one. It's too much for the undersized quarterback. I was, oh my god.
Oh man, they love to drive that home. But if he, on the flip side is they love to call the other side of that. Oh well, but he's athletic. He's an athletic quarterback.
Right, because playing college football means that you have to qualify as athletic.
Yeah.
Like they have to point it out when you're athletic.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get. Like, why do we use that as a descriptor when you have made it to the Division I college football level?
I mean, it's called college athletes.
Right.
college athletics. I'm going to guess you're an athlete. I'm going to throw a dart in the dark here and just assume that you're an athlete. Well, buddy, man, like I said, it was a pleasure to find your stuff and be like, man, it's always an awakening when you find more people that are like-minded.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I'm not the only one. And I know it's like, you're not, but sometimes you feel like you live in a bubble.
Yeah.
And it's like, is there anybody outside the bubble there that feels the same way and is sick and tired of what's going on in the world as I am? And I have found that in you and quite the kindred spirit here. And I decided I wanted to interview you. I was like, I got to have this guy on the show. So I did what the most normal people do. I tried 6 degrees of separation. I threw it out on Facebook. And a fella named Justin Waite knows your drummer.
Okay.
So he got in touch with your drummer. They sent me your the email
that
address.
Could be dangerous.
Yeah, it was just the 6 degrees of separation got me to you coming in here this morning. So I wanted to give a shout out to Justin and for making that happen, and to your drummer, Jimmy Gooch.
That's right. Yep.
Jimmy for following through and kind of helping put everything together. So yeah, it's just funny what we can do with social media nowadays. You just kind of throw a net out there and see what comes back.
Last time I saw Jimmy, we locked him in a porta potty in Iowa before a concert. That's how you treat the drummer.
Well, typically that's reserved for the bass player, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. When my boyfriend was the lead singer, it's like he and the drummer were the cool ones, and the bass player was the guy. It was like, where's John? Oh, I don't know. Did we leave him?
Yeah.
I mean, did y'all knock the porta potty over? Or
we pulled the golf cart that they gave us to drive around for the day right in front of the door, so he could open it like 1 inch.
Yeah,
he was stuck.
Just enough to breathe.
Yeah.
But so do you guys have you played any shows here in Jackson in this area?
No, about 2015 we did 40, 50 shows, and I was on the road every single weekend. I had a decision to make, and it was, do you want to watch your boys grow up and be at their baseball games and all their, and watch them, grow as young men, or do you want to be on the road and start that and just burn it up, which I had every chance to do. it just got to the point where I said, we said God gave us door number 3, because I turn on a camera and all of a sudden, the first YouTube video I ever did, I didn't check the video for 4 months. And there was like 500,000 views on this video. I thought there was a glitch or something had gone wrong, what was going on. And I was like, well, shoot, I can't believe somebody wants to watch this. So naturally we did video number 2. And
was that the Easton Corbin cover?
Yeah. That was like 11, 12 years ago. And so we just kept hitting that, and all of a sudden we figured out how to make that work without going on the road. But I do love to tour, and we take just a select amount of shows every year, and they're usually big. They're usually a lot of fun.
That's good stuff. We are gonna have to twist your arm somehow and get a Buddy Brown show here locally, presented by the Clay Edwards Show. We'll make the same. We'll make this thing rock. I can assure you, because I think that the people are gonna want to hear your stuff, especially if you're meeting new audience today that hasn't heard of you. I think they're gonna enjoy what they hear.
Heck yeah.
So we're gonna get that out there. Let's see here. So one of the other things, I'll tell you what, we'll take a break real quick. When we come back, I want to talk about what we talked about off air, about being from Mississippi and not necessarily, and kind of finding success without a lot of help from Mississippi. As far as like, other than your inspiration and stuff like that. But it's unique to go outside of here to find success and then come back home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I'm most proud of. So
yeah, absolutely. I would be too, because most people had to build the foundation at home and then go grow. But I have seen several people that do it the other way around that have been very, very successful. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. You listen to the Clay Edwards Show. We are live here in the Generator Power Solutions studio, and we'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. All right, welcome back to the Clay Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you by Lakeland Glass and Tint, right there on Lakeland Drive, where quality matters. If you need your automobile windshields replaced, Lakeland Glass and Tint. If you need your home, car, auto windows tinted, Lakeland Glass and Tint. You can reach them at 601-946-1000. That's right, where quality matters. LakelandGlassandTint.com for more information. Go see Jason Anderson and the team. They will take care of you. Tell them Clay Edwards sent you. All right, in the studio we have Miss Therese Apel and Mr. Buddy Brown, international viral superstar, Mr. Buddy Brown, but Madison County's very own.
You dang right.
Madison County's very own. Is it kind of surreal, buddy, to just being a country boy and know that many people watch your stuff?
It's really, really weird, and it's even crazier being from Mississippi, because we're taught, right, not to draw attention to ourselves. Daddy, Mama, what did Mama say? Going to, don't make a fool of yourself. You don't need to.
That went in one ear and out the other for me.
I'm like, so going. Truly, the music around the world and having 3 Billboard albums and just being a Madison County good old boy, eating barbecue with the Triple B just like anybody else.
Yeah.
It is weird. So,
yeah. So look, one thing, and I want to jump into all the politics and all that stuff, but one thing I did want to say, you've done this independently the entire time.
Yeah.
The entire time. 3 charted albums. Is that right?
That's right.
That's amazing. But one of the things you did as your first album was getting ready to come out is you did a promotion with your fan club or fans or followers or whatnot. Say, hey, shoot me your number, and I'm going to shoot you a thank you. You were going to call like 10 people. You ended up calling over 1,000.
Yeah, that was a long couple. It's not. That was one of the best songwriting sessions ever, because what Nashville has all wrong in these artists is they think they got something that's marketable, and it may or may not be. But I'll tell you what's marketable is going in there and talking to the people that listen to your music. Oh, yeah. And you're like, well, good Lord. Like, it makes you remember times of your life, because, what they're going through at 27 is not what I'm going through now at 39. And it makes you remember just your buddies that work for this kind of industry or that kind of industry, and how everybody's getting through life and stuff like that. So, man, if that don't help you relate, I don't know what does. So it was something I loved. Can't do it now, but it was a good time.
Well, it's like focus groups, basically.
Yeah, redneck focus group. That's
exactly. Right. I just think it says a lot about who you are as a person to want to reach out and talk to people, even then, before all the crazy success. But nonetheless, I still think it's something cool, and I think it's something artists should take into account, nowadays.
Yeah, and as a journalist, I think so too, because that's one thing we, at first, several years ago, they really pushed it on us, like interact with your, people. And then the world got so mean, and it just got to where that was not possible. But when I get to meet these people, when I go do these stories or whatever, it's always very impactful for me. But I was just sitting there thinking about actually making 1,000 phone calls to the people that, comment on my stories and stuff right now. I'm such an introvert that I think I would have to lock down for 4 months after that just to recharge, But it's amazing that you did that.
But, after 10 years in the car business, when I first got started there, the rule was you had to make 20 phone calls a day.
Oh,
So you had. I mean, it wasn't necessarily cold calls, but it was people who had visited the dealership at some point in time or another. May have been another salesman's customers you inherited, whatever. They always had plenty of phone numbers to divvy out.
One step above Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right,
absolutely. Right. And so say 20 times 5. So it'd be 400 a month at the minimum that I would have to make. So I'm thinking, how long did it take you to do 1,000 phone calls?
I didn't keep track. Probably a week.
That's wild.
I remember I would go over and
that was a full-time job.
Block my phone number for one, because I love you, but I don't want you to call me every dang day. And most, a lot of them too would do what I do, is you see spam or you see private number and you're like, well, hell, I ain't answering that. And they didn't, so I would leave a voicemail. I still get messages to this day of people saying, I still have that voicemail on my phone from 9 years ago. I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty
amazing.
Cool. Kind of makes me want to do it again.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do a contest this time. Somebody who buys anybody who buys a shirt this week, gets a phone call.
At this point, you don't try to sell anything. You just keep it natural, and that stuff comes natural.
That's good stuff.
I have to say this too. We all live in Mississippi here, and we all have an accent. But I love listening to you talk. You've got a really authentic Mississippi voice, and I love it.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I've worked real hard on it.
I can tell.
He articulates it very well.
Right.
Very well. So one of the things we teased on the other side before we came back from this break was being from Mississippi, but finding success outside of here.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do. I don't know if it's a culture problem we have here or what. And I'm lumping myself into this. I don't want anybody to think I'm firing a shot at my fellow Mississippians here. I'm not. But I just want to say, man, we got to start supporting. We're really terrible about this, especially with our music artists.
Yes.
Not supporting them until somebody else co-signs on it. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, okay, it's cool. Okay, well, I can like it now. But when your buddies are playing a bar or they're doing an acoustic night at a restaurant or whatever, get out and support them, man. I got too many people from Mississippi that I never got to see play in a bar in Mississippi. And next thing you know, they're playing arenas somewhere or out on some big tour or this, that, and the other. And, man, we got to start supporting our own. And Buddy is a great example of this. This dude became an international YouTube and viral superstar and never played a show in his hometown.
Yeah. That's the way it goes sometimes, too.
Well, the Bible says that. It says that a prophet's never appreciated in his own hometown. And I really think that it's because you grew up with folks. They know you. They know your people, whatever. They're just like, oh, Buddy, he plays a guitar. I hear he's going to go up to Nashville and try it. Yeah. And that's the last you hear, from the people that are your friends, except for your grandma is proud and she's showing your picture and that kind of thing. I feel like we tend to do that within our own circles because we've known each other.
I feel like we just wrote a Travis Tritt song.
I think we did.
It's a different... we went out to a family vacation in Montana this last year, and it was an awesome trip. It was in the summertime, and people knew me out there, and we were taking pictures, and it was just kind of funny. We were laughing as a family going, we're out in Montana, right? Mm-hmm. And when I get here in Mississippi, because people are so sweet here, and I just love them to death, but I'll get, hey, I saw you at Tractor Supply last week, but I knew it was kind of your private time with you and your family or you and your friends, so I didn't want to say nothing. But, I just want to let you know, I'm a big fan, and that's really how folks are. I had a lady take a selfie at a traffic light 2 days ago. Uh-huh. I'm like, well, just roll down the window, darling. We'll do a selfie right now. I don't care. I'm not trying to be like, this is my time and don't you dare come up. But Mississippians are like that. They're just like, hey,
very humble.
This is your time. Yeah. So maybe it's just it's a state of mind that we got down here, and I appreciate it. But I, of course, never mind if anybody comes up and. Especially at this point, I want to make Mississippi proud. We've been here my family's been here since the 1840s.
That's wild.
As soon as they open the Appalachian Mountain, it's like, bam,
we're out.
Mississippi.
We're out.
So we got a lot of roots.
On our way to the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
So you guys moved away from here, when you were about 11 or 12?
I was about 11, and Dad took a job down in Florida, and I just never really fit in down there. I found my wife down there, thank God. I guess that was the reason why I had to go down there is to get her and then bring her on back. Because I said, we ain't raising our kids down there, you know.
Well, the free state of Florida. I mean, DeSantis has it wouldn't be the worst place to live now either.
Well, yeah.
The alligators, though. The alligators, though.
I love alligators.
See, they terrify me. I know we have them here, but for some reason, I'm not scared of much. I'll run into gunfire. But alligators, nope.
At my shop over there in Flowood, it's kind of up on a hill, and there's a little swampy area behind it. There's a Jackson Paper Supplies back there, so the UPS man is constantly running back there. I was outside in the front the other day. The UPS man stops on the side road. He goes, "Hey man, just letting you know, there's an alligator on your back on the back at the back of your building."
Yeah.
So the other night I had to step out there for something. I was like, "Hold on, there may be an alligator out here. Let me get my flashlight so I don't get snapped." But I like gators too. But man, speaking of gators, we got a bunch of gator hunters around here.
Yeah.
You know, that's new over the last couple of years.
Uh-huh.
The fact you can do that, I always see everybody bragging about getting their tags to be able to do it on social media. I guess they have a lottery to be able to kill alligators around here.
Matter of fact, I need to get in on that again this year. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah. It should be coming up here soon, I think.
Uh-huh. Pretty soon.
It's deer season right now, so nothing else really matters, does it?
Yeah.
Now, you got some land up there, don't you?
I do, yeah. But Yazoo County bought it just about a year after we got up here. So that's where we do the ranch videos from and stuff like that. We do some, all over the place, but depending on if it's a song or if it's a talk or if it's just, going off at my front gate, whatever it is.
Where's the barn with the bar?
It's on the ranch.
That's up in Yazoo?
Yeah.
Good stuff there, man. I like that. That's how I really knew it was from Mississippi. I was like, it's too rustic looking. I said, that's Mississippi right there.
Yeah.
That's every redneck boy's dream.
Yeah, I wanted to build, Dale Jr. built a whole western town.
He did, man.
And I'm thinking,
that's my guy.
That's where we need to get to.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Why? Because.
Yeah,
why not?
Just because.
Why wouldn't you?
But 2022 is the year of not I can't, but why not?
Why not?
How can I not? I can't.
Yeah.
And how can I build a western town in my backyard? There's no excuses. We're going to get it done. Have you heard the Dale Jr. story about his 30th birthday party?
No.
He did a podcast recently talking about it, and I'm going to tie this into Mississippi. So, Brad from Three Doors Down and Dale Jr. are pretty good friends. Well, Dale Jr.'s a big boxing guy. Has a boxing ring in one of his man cave shops or whatever. He's probably got a 50,000 square foot shop with a boxing ring in it. Calling it a man cave is probably a bit of an insult.
Yeah.
But they got Arturo Gatti is there at his party, world champion boxer. And they decide they all want to start boxing. And Brad decides he wants to get in there and box. He's a boxing fan. Gets knocked out like that. Oh. And Dale goes over to him. He's like, hey man, we all right? He's like, I want some more. He's no, you don't want no more. You don't want no more. I was like, Mister, I say that. The next week later, they were here at the Brandon Amphitheater. And all I could think about was watching him on stage, but thinking about him getting knocked out by Arturo Gatti in Dale Jr.'s garage. It's like, I bet he wishes that story hadn't come out.
He's like, after 3 shots of Jose Cuervo.
Well, and the thing is, though, something like that, I've decided that at this stage of our lives, with the world like it is, even the bad things are good stories. And that is not even a bad thing. Like, if I could say I got knocked out by Arturo Gatti in Dale Jr.'s garage, I'd tell everybody I know. That's like a heck of a story.
I'd have that printed on a shirt.
Yeah.
Like me face down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Arturo Gatti.
Yeah. Man, you didn't even leave a mark. Can you hit me again?
I hit him first.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up like that.
I just want to make him feel good. I wasn't really knocked out.
So, buddy, everybody knows you for your music, but what I really discovered you was your political videos.
Yeah.
And that's where we really jihad is the political stuff. And what got you started with that?
We did a video called Privilege, and it got picked up on Fox News by a friend of mine named Larry Elder, and it just went viral. And I'm looking at my wife, I'm like, this is stuff I say to my buddies, in the truck, riding around Mississippi back roads. This is the stuff we say out at the property. This is the stuff we say in deer camp. I can't believe people want to watch it, because usually, and we talked about this earlier, if you are a musician and you start talking about your politics, they're like, hey, shut up and sing. Yeah. Whereas with this whole thing, being conservative, as soon as you talk about politics, they're like, we want more. And I'm thinking, are you kidding? So in 2021, that stuff became as big as the music. So it's just a wild approach as far as where do we go from here. I guess just keep doing what works, because this stuff is stuff I'm really passionate about. and it could be anything. It's not always political. Yesterday we talked about hunting, but it's usually from a very conservative mindset.
I enjoyed that video, the way hunting changed in 2020, or the way 2020 changed hunting forever.
Yeah,
that was good stuff. If y'all need to go check out Buddy Brown's YouTube channel, Buddy Brown Music. Buddy
Brown Music is what it's.
That's everything across the board.
Type in Buddy Brown. The whole thing. YouTube didn't work until about 2015. All of a sudden, these smart TVs had the YouTube app for the first time. You think
that's
about
how I got it.
My kids, they don't watch a dang show. They'll watch sports, but they will not watch an actual show anymore. They're always YouTube and stuff. And I'm thinking, well, this is really good for the future. I mean, let's get some conservative kids out there, not some snowflakes.
Yeah, at least I'm watching stuff. My daughter was the same way, and that's kind of what got me onto the YouTube kick. Was I bought her this nice big TV for her bedroom, but she would lay in bed and stare at her phone. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, watching YouTube. I'm like, it's available on the TV.
Yeah. Get out here.
Yeah. Put the phone down. We pay too much for that. Of course, I actually paid more for the phone than the TV these days, is the irony. $300 for a 50-inch TV in Walmart or $1,000 for this. It doesn't make any sense. But
You know what I think is interesting? I was just thinking about some of the music my parents listened to when I was growing up and whatever like that. And you had Cat Stevens and you had, some of that era where they were singing about politics a lot, and where everything was a little bit political, if not a lot political in the music. And it was a different, it was more of the liberal side doing it at that time. But it fit the genre that it was. And in this case, what you're doing with singing about conservative politics fits the genre of country music. And I think really having that niche there, that's why you're getting such a response. It's like you're speaking not only to people who love country music, but you're speaking to people who are hungry for what you have to say from a voice that can say it.
Yeah.
Because we do live in a world where, as you guys know, I am apolitical. I can't get on either side of anything. There are issues let's be fair to police. I'll talk about that all day. But when it comes down to it, I have to stay kind of on the sidelines. But someone like you've got the gift of being able to come out there and be like, this is what I have to say. And you've got millions of cheering fans right there. He said it, I didn't,
Yeah. No, we got a letter from Mike Pence, which is crazy. I got a framed letter from Vice President USA in my office at the house, and he started playing one of my songs at all of his campaign rallies last year.
Yeah, what song was it?
It was a military song, actually. It was called "Stop When You See a Uniform."
I wrote that down to ask you about that.
Yeah, and they started playing that one, and they also started playing a song called "Red Like Reagan." We're going to paint this country red like Reagan.
Yeah.
We're going to shoot our guns and eat our bacon. And this is not, I'm not trying to be funny. It's not an exaggeration. That kind of talk and that kind of life just comes natural, which I think is hilarious because the folks out in other countries what's a foreign country, like California or New York, it's hard for them to grasp somebody actually being like this. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, making Mississippi proud, because my granddad's in his grave with a Winston-Salem just smoking right now, nodding in approval going, that's my boy.
And you know what's funny about California? You know that more people in California voted for Trump than in Texas?
Yeah.
But California is just so big that it didn't matter. Yeah. But we always think of California just being this blue hellscape. But there's actually a lot of red there, too. Yeah. And I feel so sorry for them.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's like, well, just move if you don't like it. Well, move it. It took me 43 of my 44 years to be able to afford to move out of Jackson into Rankin County.
Yeah.
Moving ain't that easy.
Right. For some of us, it's like, I need the deposits. How am I going to get that? I guess I'm going to save up for the next 12 months.
A guy that runs a page called Save Jackson is going to have a hard time starting to GoFundMe to move out of Jackson. They're like, no, dog, you got to save it.
That's right.
I joke all the time. When I left, I cut the lights off. Poor Jackson. But hey, one more thing before we take a break, kind of capping off this stuff about country and conservatism. I feel like country music's lost its way.
Good Lord, yeah.
Because, and you bring up a great point, Therese, about liberal music, especially in the 60s and 70s. But it's always been okay for the liberal point of view to be expressed in music. It's encouraged, it's celebrated, it's awarded. But conservatism, anytime you start speaking about it in music, it's like, whoa now, we didn't tell you you could do that. That white supremacist, racist, all the buzzwords. And I like seeing it come back. I see it with you. I see it with guys like Upchurch and Struggle and Jelly Roll and Cody Jinks and some of these other guys.
Aaron Lewis,
yeah. Absolutely. I got tickets to see Aaron here in Brandon next month. So you're seeing it come back, and you're seeing massive success. Like at what point? Aaron Lewis had a #1 song And it caught Nashville completely. They were gobsmacked by it. I mean, I read an article on Billboard where they were trying to justify it. And, of course, all the insurrection, January 6th, white supremacy buzzwords were used to describe his fan base and this, that, and the other. It's like, man, can you not just accept that some people love this country and have values and consider themselves Americans?
They can't. And that's why I do not live in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
There's nothing appealing up there. I've got some friends up there. But, that kind of mindset, when we recorded my album, I Call BS on That, it debuted #1 on iTunes in all of country music. I mean, no label, no manager, no agency, no nothing. Debuted #1, and it that came out. We were on Music Row cutting it that week, and then it was during the election. It was 2016. There was nothing but Hillary signs all the way down Music Row. I'm thinking, okay, I see you, because
they don't know their demographic.
Now I know who you are. They do know their demographic. They don't care.
Yeah.
Well, and I can add a little bit in this from the journalism aspect, because sadly, entertainment and journalism have, well, I wouldn't say journalism, entertainment and the media run side by side now. But I had a guy who had gone to Mississippi State, gone up to, the north and became a journalist up there, really made something of himself. And he came back to speak to us when I worked at the Clarion Ledger. And the smartest thing he said, the reason the media is liberal is because it's run by a bunch of folks who have too much money, who went to Ivy League schools, who have never thought about anything but themselves. They've never lived in a trailer. They've never had a hunting dog. They've never shot a gun. And he said that is the reason.
Frame that.
And I've never forgotten it. And I think that's the same for what's going on in Nashville.
Well, so many of these entertainers now went straight from welfare to millionaire. There was no middle class. Mm-hmm. And they don't understand where the rest of America lives. All right, we got to take a break real quick. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show, live in the studio with Buddy Brown and Therese Apel on 103.9 WYAB. This is Clay Edwards with Auto Armour in Flowood, Mississippi. Auto Armour is the area's premier automotive detailing and ceramic coating shop. Auto Armour exclusively uses System X ceramics, and we're also an authorized installer of System X products. System X ceramics comes with a lifetime guarantee and goes onto your vehicle's Carfax report to potentially add increased resale value to your vehicle when you trade it in or sell it. Take advantage of our grand opening specials right now. We're offering System X ceramic coatings starting as low as $4.99 for cars and only $7.49 for trucks and large SUVs. We also offer headlight restoration, rim polishing, and paint correction. We're located right behind Merit Health Hospital in Flowood at 4394 Mangum Drive. And of course, we're online at AutoArmorMS.com and on Facebook and Instagram at AutoArmorMS. That's AutoArmorMS. Enjoy the rest of this podcast, and we hope to see you soon at Auto Armour in Flowood. Welcome back to the Clay Edwards Show. This segment is brought to you by our good friends over at Watkins Construction and Roofing. Our roof repair can cause a lot of stress. Choosing the right roofing company to repair your roof is very important. Most contractors will try to convince you that replacement is the only way to go. And that, my friends, is not the Watkins way. They believe in an honest assessment. That doesn't necessarily mean replacement. Heck, in most cases, all you need is a roof repair. So whether you have a leaky roof, you need chimney repair, flat roof repair, roof water leak, shingle roof repair, metal roof repair, or chimney flashing repair, Watkins Construction and Roofing is your go-to roof repair specialist. Give them a call today for a complimentary roof assessment at 601-966-8233. Or check them out online at watkinsconstructioninc.com. And every time I read that ad, I like to tell y'all, go to Google or DuckDuckGo or wherever you go. Type in Watkins Construction and Roofing and read their reviews. And let their satisfied customers sell you on why you should go with Watkins Construction and Roofing, not Mr. Radio Guy. And you'll be very, very satisfied with what you read. Tons and tons and tons of 5-star reviews. All right. In the studio, we've got Therese Apel with darkhorsepressnow.com and Mr. I so badly want to say Uptown Buddy Brown or Downtown Buddy Brown, but really it's Backwoods Buddy Brown.
Yeah, I was going to say there's no town.
Yeah.
They don't have the down in it, They don't quite rhyme.
If Buddy Brown's downtown, somebody lied to you.
Hey, look, if anybody's in downtown Jackson, they've been lied to at this point. But so we're talking about Nashville losing its way. Mm-hmm.
And remember, I'm a Nashville girl, and I'm right in here in this discussion.
Well, Nashville is a country music country music. We'll say country music's lost its way. Yeah. They either don't care who their demo is, or they're trying to convert their demo.
I like that one. I like that theory. Yeah.
You know, like they're trying to brainwash, backwoods, down home into thinking that we're all bad folks, and if you're not doing it this way, it ain't the right way. Left is right, right is left. It's just, that's why it's refreshing to come across somebody like yours. I get a chuckle when I listen to your music because you're hitting the nail on the head. You're above target, as they say. But I don't want to call it comedy. It's not comedy. It's just sometimes the truth is so blatant. When somebody says it, you're like, gosh, dang, he hit the nail on the head. I mean, with songs like, let's see, I wrote a few down here that really jump out. This one ain't funny, obviously, but Stop When You See a
Uniform.
Uniform.
Yeah.
Great song. Almost
Thank
cheered
you.
up listening to that
Thank
one
you.
last night. And then now this one is funny. I will say, it got to be less white.
Yeah.
That was after the Coca-Cola controversy,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
That's good stuff there. And
That's the first one I ever saw.
Is
yeah.
it?
Is
yeah.
it?
I sent that one to my daughter. Actually, I was like, "This guy's going to be on the show. You'll like this." I've raised a little Trumplican. Well, she ain't little; she's almost 20 now. But did good. I was like, "Oh man, thank God! I got a teenager that's not a liberal."
Yeah.
I was like,
"Thank you, Jesus."
I know. Because at that younger age, it can go either way. But and then as Raised by Boomers is one of your newest.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that one hit home. I sent that one to Therese.
Yeah.
I was like, "This guy's going to be on the show."
We're about to record that in 2 weeks up
Are you?
there. Yeah, up in Nashville. We did Piggly Wiggly. I could Red Like Reagan. I call BS on that. Matter of fact, I called BS on that. My producer called me the night before, and he said, "I don't think you should record that song. Hey, this is Nashville, and I really don't know where the session players stand on this. And of course, we got some major players on this on these albums, and I just don't know if you should do it." I said, "Well, we're doing it." He's like, "Well, I don't know if you should." I said, "Well, we're doing it." So,
Well, they're being paid.
yeah, exactly. So, I don't know if this will be good for your career. I don't care. It's going to be what it's going to be. So, it's just interesting because I feel like Nashville and the way they market country radio today is to 15-year-old girls to about 20, to college sorority girls. I don't see a lot of guys getting fired up about a lot of concerts, outside of like a Aaron Lewis type of situation. If you look around a lot of the concerts, it's about 90% girls. And you're like, okay, Nashville, I see what you're doing, which is fine. If you're selling out, arenas and you're making money, that's great. But I don't find that men, which is 85% of my YouTube channel and my Facebook and Spotify and Apple Music, that's the demographics of it all. So it's very male heavy. And I think it's because of the fact that I talk about that kind of stuff that they want to say at work and the kind of stuff that they want to, stand for as a patriarch, and not the way modern commercials paint men and all this kind of stuff. That kind of stuff just drives me absolutely nuts.
Well, and I think it's important to point out that I believe everything has gone the fast food way these days. Like, I call a lot of things fast food journalism. I think there's fast food music. And I think that modern country, we're looking at fast food music. Why would you go get a steak? Why would you go to those old songs by those artists that actually told you a story that like ripped your heart out, when you can listen to some kind of nonsense about, I can't even think of, I don't listen to a lot of modern country now because it's like, I don't need to hear somebody half my age singing about how her, boots don't shine or some kind of thing like that. Give me George Strait all day long.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I've never heard an old country boy pull up beside me listening to Kane Brown or Florida Georgia Line. If he does, we're gonna get out at the red light and have a conversation.
Yeah,
son, get down out of that truck.
Telling you got a pretty mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and my question is too, some of these little people that they've got doing stuff, and I include the male artists in this, how many of y'all actually ever have been on a horse? How many of y'all singing about this stuff actually have ever, scooped poop out of a stall? And obviously being a horse girl, that's where I go with it. But have you been to, these places you're singing about? When you talk about an old John Deere tractor, have you ridden one?
I think since we don't have a whole lot of cowboys in the nation anymore, we're not singing about that a whole lot anymore, and that's fine. But don't go to Friday nights and moonlight on the tailgate and, short skirts. Go to some outlaw stuff. Do you not have a lively discussion with any of your friends about the political state of the nation at any time in your life, or you just go to work and go home and drink a beer and watch your show and go to bed and do it all over? Do you have anything else going on? And that's kind of what I'm trying to drive home. If you listen to some old Waylon Jennings and David Allan Coe. Mm-hmm. Good Lord. I mean, you listen to turn on modern country radio and then turn on If That Ain't Country or, Cedar Town, Georgia by Waylon Jennings. I mean, good Lord. You're like, what planet did these new guys come from?
Music Row.
Yeah.
All right, look, we got to take a break real quick to make up for the time we went over a minute ago. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show on 103.9 WYAB. All right, welcome back to the Clay Edwards Show. I got about 30 seconds here before we hit our top of the hour news break. We got excited, ran over on a couple segments, so I got to make it up somewhere, and it's going to be this last segment. Look, we got Buddy Brown in the studio. We got Therese Apel. If you're just getting in your car, getting out of your car, I implore you, check out BuddyBrownMusic.com. Check him out on YouTube, Buddy Brown Music. He'll be back for the second hour, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Clay Edwards Show. We are live here in the Generator Power Solutions studio. And this segment is going to be brought to you by my friends over at the Mississippi Karters Association and Drive Your Line. Look, they had a huge turnout at the Racing Vehicle Extravaganza there at their booth. They sold out of go-karts, which is phenomenal. So this Saturday, they're having their annual club meeting. It's going to be at the Motor Club of Jackson, which is located at 1999 Billy Bell Road right there in Jackson. So if you ever thought about joining the Mississippi Karters Association, if you got questions, if you just want to go see what's going on, this is a great time to go do it. For more information, you can call Christy at 601-667-0770, or just go check them out on Facebook, Mississippi Karters Association, or misskarting.com. Again, that's this Saturday, 1 p.m., the 2022 annual club meeting at the Motor Club of Jackson, Mississippi Karters Association. Good stuff there. You ought to get your sons racing some go-karts, man.
I like go-karts.
I love them, man.
Yeah.
I'd have given anything to have a go-kart under my Christmas tree when I was a kid. I went forever. I think I told the story on here a few weeks ago. I went forever, thinking Santa Claus was real or hoping he was real, and which is funny because my dad's been Santa Claus at Bass Pro since it's opened. But so I went forever thinking Santa Claus was real. So I'd wait to the last minute, wait till the night before Christmas when I was putting out the cookies and the milk to make my Christmas list, and I always put a dirt bike or a go-kart on it the night before Christmas.
Just saying. Just want to put that in there.
Guess what I never got? A go-kart or a dirt bike.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, then it must have been wherever my pony was, because I always wanted this pony, and I never got it. But, now Santa brought it a couple of years ago, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Buddy, did your kids have a good Christmas, man?
They did, yeah. We went down and did Disney World and all that. Which, living in Orlando when they grew up, they were like, it's still fresh. It's still fun.
Yeah.
They got all their little cousins that come with them and stuff like that. So it's cool.
Were they making everybody wear a mask down there for that?
Just inside the rides. Like if it's a inside ride.
Yeah.
Like, put your mask on. I was like, well, I know you got to tell me, but I ain't got to do it. And they're like, whoa, I don't know what to do with that. No, I wore it most of the time. I behaved, but that's still their policy. Until, something changes, I guess.
Man, it's nauseating. My stepdaughter goes to Brandon. She's a senior out there in Rankin County. Mm-hmm. And they passed a memo out yesterday, Sunday. School starts back today from Christmas break. And it's crazy. They can't tell you got to wear a mask, but they're highly encouraging it. And they're saying if you come in contact with anybody with COVID, you have to miss 5 days. And then if you're not vaccinated, and you don't want to wear a mask when you come back for 5 more days, you have to miss 10 days. Now, if you're a kid, take yourself back to the 90s when you were in high school. Well, I'm going to take myself back to 91, 92, 93. Yeah. If you had told me all I had to do was say I bumped into somebody that had COVID, and I could miss 10 days. Because now what happens when the kid comes back and they've been around a whole classroom after they've been around somebody? Their logic makes no sense.
Yeah. I mean.
One of the big hashtags or catchphrases of this show, this entire station, every host on here, make it make sense, and they can't.
They can't.
It's like none of it makes any sense. And it's just as a parent, my daughter, my biological daughter, graduated. She was class of 2020. They had to have her dang graduation on a truck trailer, which God bless. Actually, it was a stage, not a truck trailer. But God bless Hillcrest for going through that. And they couldn't even do it in the city of Jackson where Hillcrest is. They had to do it out in Rankin County where they could actually assemble to do it behind the First Baptist Church there in Richland. But it's just it's been
You're like writing a song right now.
My life is plenty of content for a song.
Yeah.
But I was so grateful. You're disappointed for your child, but then again, you think back. Like, I hated school, high school. It was not my. I didn't flourish until after high school, and my daughter didn't like it either. So she actually got to miss the whole second half of her year. I took them to a Post Malone concert in Memphis for spring break. It was a Christmas gift, but it was that was the Sunday going into spring break that the show would have been. So they didn't have school for another week. They never went back. That was it. And the next time she's around anybody from school, she's doing the graduation in a parking lot. And we all got to sit in our cars and tune it to a certain station. Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, we were all just mingling right here, but now we have to go sit in our cars. Why would they do that?
But here's where the writer in me kicks in. What a story years from now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's like, to me, everything that's gone on, I mean, and this is probably why I'm a writer and I'm not something else, but I look at it and I'm like, these pieces that put this whole last few years together, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. There's tragedy, there's triumph, there's what the heck is going on here? You know, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. To me, it's like, and I didn't flourish in high school either. High school was like the armpit of my life. So when I think about it, it's like, man, I'm kind of jealous of these kids. Like, you didn't have to go back, really?
You got a built-in excuse to miss 10 days at minimum.
Right. Yeah. All I would have missed was tennis.
That I'm guessing doesn't go against your record, of a days allowed missed.
But what is your record anyway? Has either of you ever had your high school record, when they say it's going to go on your record, has it ever come up in your whole life since then?
No.
Y'all are both like, maybe so.
I skipped 67 days in a row my 11th grade year.
Oh, geez.
And so I didn't finish high school.
You get Shanghaied or what?
I just quit going. So I went to register for school that year, and I had my own phone line in my bedroom. My parents had got me that as a Christmas gift because the phone was always tied up. And this is 91. Yeah, think about it. So 92, 93, somewhere in that neighborhood. 372-0600. I'll never forget the phone number. And so I went and registered myself for school, and I put my bedroom phone number down as the emergency contact number. Yeah. I knew what I had planned. And I started skipping school. Next thing you know, I'd missed 67 days. My mom shows up over at my buddy's driveway. Somehow I know that she had gone by the school to drop something off, and they're like, Clay hadn't been here in over 2 months. She's like, what? Man, she pulled up into my buddy's driveway out there in Byram, and she said, hey, what are y'all doing? And her head started spinning around. Get in the van. Yeah.
Mama's got flames in her eyes.
Oh, yeah.
So Clay got his GED, but I've been lying on my own job applications since 1993, saying I got a high school diploma, and nobody's ever asked to see it.
Just now admitted it for the first time.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I was digging through a box the other day and found my GED. I was like, should I hang this up?
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Now I did end up going out to Hines and got a sales and marketing degree, an associate's degree, and all that stuff. So I did my time, but high school was not a fun place.
Mm-mm.
No, at all. Hey, look. So off the air, we were talking about kind of changing subjects here. We were talking about just how much has changed as far as what you do, buddy, and Therese, what you do from a journalistic and a music standpoint. Of people almost associate overly produced, high-end, glossy, over-the-top production with not being authentic, with being fake. And how what you do is very raw. Mm-hmm. Therese, what you do is very raw. Even what I do. Like, if I can just encourage anybody, and people associate raw with real and being honest and the truth. And I think that right now people want that more than they want any polishing of a turd at all. They want the truth. It may hurt their feelings. Well, there's some people who don't want the truth. We know who they are. But for the most part, sane people here in Mississippi want the truth. And I think that's what everybody in this room strives to do.
The truck sessions we started doing on YouTube, I was saying during the break, I said it used to be almost a chip on my shoulder. Well, of course, there was not that many people watching back then, back 5-6 years ago, and now we have 100,000 a day just watching the videos. And I used to associate being on a truck bed singing a song as, you hadn't made it yet. That's why you're still on your truck bed and all this kind of stuff. If you had made it, you'd be doing, $50,000 music videos and just knocking them out one after another. But then the psychology changed. I was watching an interesting video about how this guy was talking about how the whole psychology has changed in the last 10 years of people who want this massively produced music video versus now the whole world has gone so dang fake, and it's so disgusting. I want to be around about 6 individuals on my daily basis as it is, because the whole world and corporate world and all is so dang fake that if you can grab anything genuine, you grab it. And in my case, it's these truck sessions or words from the woods, or whatever I do out in my little saloon out there. It is that's just it's just raw, and it's the stuff that I feel. It's the stuff I believe. There's no fog machines, going on. There's no strobe lights. It's just me, and I'm really glad that it's done as well as it has. But I think psychology is changing for sure, and society is changing.
Yeah, when I'm flipping through YouTube now and I see something, one of these digital vlogs, video podcasts, whatever, your temple type stuff and all that. I'm like, I like that. That's raw. That's real. Then you flip it over and you see like the local news uploaded, or with Dark Horse, what she does, But then you see like local news uploads, and it's like, I just don't care. I don't want to hear a 30-second sound bite. I need more than a 30-second sound bite to make an opinion, a real opinion on what's going on. That's when I stumble across you. You got 3, 4, 5, 10-minute videos saying what you feel, and I love that, man.
Well, and I think, too, one of the things, and we've talked about this before, but when I started my ride-along series, Frontlines, I remember there were a couple of times that we would have a whole day where all they did was pull. It's about interdiction, so they're looking for drugs on the interstate in many of the episodes, and they'd pull people over, like, hey, how's it going? Just noticed you hit the middle line. They'd talk to them for a minute, shake their hand, and walk away. And so at one point I was a little bit like, guys, you're not giving me anything to work with here. Basically, I've got a bunch of things of y'all being nice to people. Yeah. Like, can y'all rough somebody up or go on a chase or something? And one of the guys, and he's turned out to be one of my good friends, but he looked at me and said, I thought you said you wanted to show what's really happening out here. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? You're exactly right. Keep being nice to people. If we get in a chase, we get in a chase. But if I said we're doing what's really happening, we're doing what's really happening. And that's resonated. I mean, I've got people that, they love watching these guys just be real people. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, at one point I had one deputy and they had pulled over this guy who's pretty big and pretty built. And the closing shot that I used of that stop was them comparing muscles and pointing to their biceps while they flexed. And it was just showing the human side of it. And to me, there's a part of me that, having been in production for as long as I have, it's I really wish that I had better sound, or I wish I had better XYZ. But right now, my audience loves what they're seeing because it is what you were talking about. It's just so real, you know?
Well, one of your last stories before you started Dark Horse was when you were with WLBT, you were broadcasting live at the scene of a wreck, and a guy wrecked and almost hit y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, that's where she was on Facebook Live at a corner in Jackson that's kind of dangerous, reporting on how dangerous the corner was. And here comes somebody barreling out of control and smashes into y'all's work vehicle, right?
And, it hit our work vehicles and it hit a house. And we were standing direct, the camera and everything else was cleaned out. Luckily, my photographer and I were both somehow miraculously able to get out of the way. But you could see the tracks of that car, and you could see one leg of the camera stand, and then everything else was up inside the wall of that house, and that was very real.
Yeah. And people appreciate that. Yeah. Whether you intended for it to or not, it buys you authenticity. Mm-hmm. And people are like, well, if Therese is there, anything can happen.
I've actually been called the Jim Cantori of Mississippi news.
Oh, no. Well, don't just, as long as you're not standing there pretending the hurricane's worse than it is.
No, I'm not faking.
Yeah, buddy, speaking of the hurricane, I saw your hurricane video. I guess from back in August or whatnot.
During what hurricane? Shoot, what was the name of that thing? I can't remember.
I can't remember the name, but we made it a point to do all our shows live. So we had to trek through it to get here, and because we felt like it was important to be live on the air. So I was like, I feel this one. It's like, tomorrow's going to be a chainsaw day.
Yeah, chainsaw day. It's going to be a gully washer. It was from the perspective of if you just got Bubba out there and trying to give the news real quick. What would old Bubba say?
Yeah.
Most people don't even know what a gully washer is.
I love
a gully washer.
Yeah, that's just a fun word.
Heck yeah.
I mean, I think we need to bring that back.
I never left it. Shoot.
Fair enough.
I'm disappointed we don't call things hollers around here.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't got no holler. What do you mean we ain't got no holler? We got hollers
in the creek.
One of my favorite things I still carry from being a volunteer firefighter in Lincoln County is my chief was real country and just one of my favorite people. But he'd tell a story and he'd say, and I looked at him like, feller, you think you're going to talk to me like this? And sometimes I'm driving and I'll be like, feller, you better get out of the way.
All right, look, man, we're going to take a break real quick. You're listening to The Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back here on 103.9 WYAB. All right, welcome back to The Clay Edwards Show. We're live here in the Generator Power Solutions studio. Hey, look, man, if any of you guys want to call in, you got a question for any of us, for Buddy, for Therese, for myself, you can reach us. 601-879-0002 is the phone line there. We'd love to hear from you this morning. I'd say we're kind of getting it off the norm a little bit here and just got a third person in the studio having a good time. Buddy is a Mississippian who has done very well for himself in the world of country music and done it independently. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the coolest part of this to me. Is like you started and you did it independently. And for two other people sitting here who are doing it independently, you know, it really hits home. And I want to say thank you for staying independent.
Yeah, and I was going to say, he said you do well for yourself. I think you do well for all of us, you know.
I just will always love being a small-town Mississippi boy. There's nothing inside of me that says, hey, let's get out to L.A. Let's do this. Let's become this or that. Because I've had friends, you know, I've got, fans and or friends that have done that whole thing, and I see how it changes them, and it just sucks to watch that over. It may not happen in a year, but it may happen in a 10-year in time, and I'm like, I don't want, you can't get the red off this neck, boy.
No, man, you got to keep your roots. Hey, look, man, we got a call here on the phone line. Let's, hey, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Clay, what's up? It's Joe, man.
Hey, what's up, Joe?
Just wanted to holler at you guys. Been working a lot lately. I hadn't been able to listen to the show, but just wanted to call in and say what's up and how much I'm enjoying it. Follow Buddy Brown on Instagram and your page. They look similar a lot of times, so this has been a great show, man. Y'all keep it up.
Hey, appreciate it, Joe. Have a blessed one out there, man.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, man.
Joe's good people, man. We appreciate him listening. And Joe, you can always go back and listen to the podcast. So that is available for you if you missed the live show. But I met Joe. He brought his kids by the house on Halloween. He's like, man, we're trick-or-treating out here in Crossgates. Can we swing by? I was like, heck yeah, man, come on. So it's always cool getting to meet folks and like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
I'll never forget watching that movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Man.
And he's like,
he done RUNNOFT.
he's like, you want to go to a meeting with some like-minded individuals? So it started out as a joke, man. We went to this Rankin County Republican conservative fish fry. Philip Gunn was speaking at it. It was some little private.
I'm getting chills.
Yeah, some little private event. And I was like, man, it was out in Pillahatchee. I was like, man, are we going to do a like-minded individual deal here? It's like, we're getting mighty far out here.
Yeah.
Of course, nothing like that, but it's just funny, thinking about it. I'm an urban redneck, more so than a country redneck. And so you start getting me too far out in the country, I'm like, what are we doing?
Shoot, hey, I played a show 2 years ago up in northeast Arkansas where the police chief said, hey, buddy, when you get in my side-by-side, I got to show you something. And the fire chief jumped in with them, and he's like, we got a steal back here. You got to try Mama's apple moonshine. I'm like, you're the fire chief. Hey, you're the police chief. Well, we're in northeast Arkansas, son. It's all right. Some like-minded individuals just want to show you a good time. I'm like, that's great, but just tell me there ain't going to be a fire tonight.
Yeah. Hey,
God of mercy.
So speaking of,
probably shouldn't have told that one.
No, it's all good.
Well, you didn't say where it was.
Yeah, I didn't.
Arkansas is a big place too. Speaking of small town sheriffs, I heard a song you did about a small town sheriff.
Oh man,
is that
100% true? Not of me. It is my college roommate at Mississippi State. He got a 12 gauge put right in his face by a girl's dad. And all they did was, the whole thing was, he was supposed to leave at like 11, 12 or whatever, and he thought he left. Well, he was still hanging out. They wasn't doing nothing. It was just, he weren't supposed to be in my house at 2 a.m, so he found him in his kitchen getting a snack, still hanging out. Pulled his shotgun on him like any good Mississippi man would.
I think we're talking about two different songs. Which one is that?
I'm talking about, Well, now you got me questioning myself. Was I thinking about the judge?
No, I'm thinking about the song about the drag racing sheriff that killed the 3 guys.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's yet to be recorded. That's next week, actually, up in Nashville. That is called The Legend of Sheriff Snyder.
That's it.
That is a, that story I got from my uncle, who's not with us anymore. But when he was at Ole Miss back in the 70s, he had heard about a sheriff, not going to say what town, but it's north of here, who is kind of just
a lot of shenanigans going on in North Mississippi.
Oh my goodness! Basically funding a midnight drag race with the ticket money and running a whole racket through there. And I'm like, this is only something that would happen in Burt Reynolds era, Mississippi. We got to do a song about this. So it's called The Legend of Sheriff Snyder. And from what I've been told, a good 90-something% of it's true.
Well,
I can't wait to hear that.
Well, this goes, and it's on his YouTube channel. It's in the truck session stuff.
Yeah.
Except for killing people at the end. I had fun.
Oh, yeah.
I was feeling the spirit.
Poetic license.
Hey,
yeah. Nobody died.
Not in real life.
Who are we to say it ain't real? I mean, theoretically. But you know what I love about your music? I was going to say this earlier. It takes me back to a time when country music told stories.
Yeah.
Like Ode to Billy Joe. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. That song, I know they're nothing alike, but it gives me that takes me to that place where I'm hearing a story being told. Even most recently with somebody like a Blake Shelton and Old Red. That song tells a story.
Oh, yeah.
And I like stuff that takes me to a place where I can vision what's going on, like a mini movie, a miniature book. And your stuff does that. It tells a story, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, my favorite song we ever did was a song called Pedro. And Pedro is...
There's part 1 and 2.
Definitely, there's part 1 and 2. And it's about going on a whitetail hunt with a hunting guide in Mexico with a guy named Pedro and getting surrounded by the cartel. And all of a sudden they find out that you're hunting on cartel land. You get locked up and you make a miraculous jailbreak and make it back to the border in the middle of the night. That whole song was a true story from a story that Jim Shockey had told. And, of course, I took poetic license and imagined myself there and all this stuff. And people are just obsessed with this story. So that's why we had to do a sequel. I might do a third one at some point. The Pedro stuff is it's just, I picture a movie when I picture that song.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and I think what I love about it, too, is that it picks up the art of telling stories that has been with man since the beginning of time. And, now it's like the stories that we're telling are all full of anger and, trash, basically.
Who cheated on who? It's Jerry Springer. Man,
right.
If I want to watch Jerry Springer, I'm going to turn it on, which I won't.
Right.
I want to hear a cowboy story or a campfire story or something about, a shootout. Somebody dying, shoot,
Yeah, outrage has replaced entertainment. And so what we're doing now, you're telling the stories that, we would have sat, like you said, told at the deer camp, sat around a campfire, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was telling Therese a few weeks ago, I said, I'm damn just tired of looking for things to be mad, talking about doing show prep and getting ready for the next day. I said, I'm tired of looking for things to be mad about. So I can go talk about it. So I got to mix this up a little bit, and that's where stuff like this comes in. And it's like, I got to, and we obviously have a common thread, but I got to mix it up. I got to tell some stories. I want people to hear about these other people. I want to introduce people to new people, this, that, and the other. And your music, I'm telling you, it hit the spot for me.
I appreciate it.
So I don't want to get through this whole thing without forgetting to plug. You did have an album come out this year.
I did.
In the last year.
Yeah,
American Savage.
American Savage. That's it.
And it's available everywhere.
Yeah. It debuted number 2 on iTunes, which we did not do any promotion for it at all. I mean, it was as grassroots as it can get. It was kind of just here it is. And at this point, the fan base is big enough to where it just they know about it and they get it. It's such a blessing to have them jump on. This next album will be different. This next album we're changing studios, we're changing session players, we're doing everything to try to get that old sound. Because what we're doing is, the stuff I talk about already is throwback stuff, and it's throwback lyrics, and I wanted to match the stuff. So, I mean, we're going straight Waylon and, David Allan Coe on this next album and really bringing back some of the guitar sounds from the 60s and 70s that made country great. And it's going to be, I call it just an absolute perfect rebellion to modern country music. But the lyrics are going to be as biting as ever, and as as
gonna be authentic Buddy Brown.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're gonna bring it, but the sound is gonna be like, good Lord, am I in Lukenbach, Texas? From
Are you familiar with Whitey Morgan and the 78s?
No.
Whitey is very much similar to that. It's got that big Waylon Jennings 70s.
It's awesome.
70s Texas country. Even I think he's out of Detroit or somewhere.
Yeah.
But Detroit's is a unique place, a melting pot of music with Kid Rock and Bob Seger and Eminem and all those other different things coming out of there. But I highly recommend Whitey Morgan in the 78s. It's got that big country, just live music vibe to it. Like he's got a live album. Like that's something that I think has been lost, is a legitimate live albums.
We're all so mad. We're all so distracted. Most of my friends just have really lost interest in modern country music. Yeah. So when you look at stuff like that, you're like, man, we got to go back to the good stuff, because this ain't working anymore. I mean, sure, there's a certain part of it that'll always sell, but I think we're going to lose our heart and soul if we hang on that train too much longer.
Well, so there's a local country station, and their tagline is "Your hometown country," when there's nothing hometown about it.
Yeah,
it's a lie, and this ain't a knock on them. I get it; it's just media and all that stuff. But man, I want to hear songs that I relate to. I'm 44. Yeah. I can only hear about tan lines and tailgates and Daisy Dukes and jacked up trucks for so long.
There's a thing, with the guys we grew up with, and you think about Mary Chapin Carpenter and Pam Tillis and Susie Bogue, just all these amazing artists that were coming up when we were about 10, 12 years old. They were older. Now they want a 22-year-old kid who has no freaking clue who they are, singing about what, and that's why it comes off. I feel like I'm listening to a sixth grader trying to write a song, and I'm not hating on them or anything like that. It's just y'all clearly don't have any life experience. I can say that. I've been married 15 years. I'm going to be 40 this year. I got two boys that are 11 and 12. I'm not a kid anymore, and I don't want to hear kid stuff, and I don't want to hear about your hookups and your drunken nights. If y'all want to hear about that stuff, back there in high school and college, that's fine. I just don't personally want to hear about it anymore. And the music I listen to is so sparse at this point anyway, because I listen to podcasts and talk radio. It's like, good Lord, I'm turning into my dad.
But I don't want to hear music about leave Broadway girls alone.
No, I don't.
I guess that's the new Morgan Wallen hit right now. I don't care.
It's really just that eternal frat boy mindset.
I need to hear songs about the rent being due.
Yeah.
Hank Jr. came out with a song a couple of years ago called Pink Slip Blues or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, I get it, man. That song, it came out during the Obama era, when everything, all the manufacturing was leaving America and all that stuff. And, man, that song still to this day resonates very, very well with me. And it's authentic, and sometimes I need to hear about the hard side of life, because that's what I'm going through.
Well, the other day my iTunes have resurfaced on my phone. Like, I'm so phone illiterate that I don't know where my iTunes are or where they came from, but they just started playing on my car thing. So anyway, If You See Her by Reba McEntire came on, she did with Brooks and Dunn.
Oof.
And that song is so, like, when I was 22 singing to that song, it was like, oh my gosh, this is so emotional. And it's like every relationship I've ever had. Now it's like, now that I'm my age, I get it. I know it. And there is nothing else out there like that, because, like, that is, as you said, grown-ups singing about grown-up things. Yeah. That at 22, I sang it at the top of my lungs, and I knew exactly what love was. And now it's like, oh my God, like, that was art. Yeah, that has nothing to do with Daisy Dukes and trucks and drunken nights.
Heck no. I got a double shot liberal buzzword for you.
Okay.
Lived experience.
Lived experience. Yes. Oh my God.
I need some dang lived experiences in these songs. And a 22-year-old talking about a breakup and this, that, and the other. We ain't lived the same experience as Hoss.
No, we hadn't.
Yeah, exactly.
We hadn't.
All right, look, we're going to take a break real quick. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show. We're joined by Buddy Brown and Miss Therese Apel with darkhorsepressnow.com, and we'll be right back on 103.9 WYA. This is Clay Edwards with Auto Armour in Flowood, Mississippi. Auto Armour is the area's premier automotive detailing and ceramic coating shop. Auto Armour exclusively uses System X ceramics, and we're also an authorized installer of System X products. System X ceramics comes with a lifetime guarantee and goes onto your vehicle's Carfax report to potentially add increased resale value to your vehicle when you trade it in or sell it. Take advantage of our grand opening specials right now We're offering System X ceramic coatings starting as low as $4.99 for cars and only $7.49 for trucks and large SUVs. We also offer headlight restoration, rim polishing, and paint correction. We're located right behind Merit Health Hospital in Flowood at 4394 Mangum Drive. And of course, we're online at AutoArmourMS.com and on Facebook and Instagram at AutoArmourMS. That's AutoArmourMS. Enjoy the rest of this podcast, and we hope to see you soon at Auto Armour in Flowood. All right, welcome back to the Clay Edwards Show. This segment's brought to you by our friends over at Land Management of Mississippi. From small lots to large acreage, if you need your lot or land cleared, then Land Management of Mississippi should be your only phone call. Land Management of Mississippi offers forestry mulching, land maintenance, bush hogging, land cleaning, and more. Give Michael Lassiter a call today at 601-953-4218. One more time, 601-953-4218, or check them out on Facebook at Land Management of MS. Locally owned, locally operated, just like all of our other sponsors here on the Clay Edwards Show. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to our sponsors, and it means a lot to our listeners. So if you need any of these services, from whether it's from one of my sponsors or one of the other guys' sponsors, just anybody on WYAB, please consider them before you consider someone else. All right, I'm joined in the studio by Miss Therese Apel and Mr. Buddy Brown. And Buddy has got a new song out on his YouTube, and it's called Raised by Boomers. And I think that's everybody in this room. You know, if you're, 35, 36 or older, you're probably raised by a boomer.
Mm-hmm.
Or you were one.
Oh, you were one.
Yeah.
I'm kind of somewhere in between. I'm a Boomer X.
Yeah.
Boomer X. I'm making it up as I go over here. All right. So we're going to play Buddy's song here, and you can find this on his YouTube at Buddy Brown Music. And I guess it's available everywhere, Buddy?
Yeah. Well, this particular one you're playing hadn't been cut yet, so this is just an acoustic shot. But we're gonna cut this in a couple weeks for the new album.
Cool. Have you thought about, before I go into this, just doing an acoustic album?
I get asked that all the time. You know, I hadn't. I feel like that's what the truck sessions are for.
Yeah.
And I want to see them come to life and be an actual studio song at some point. But, you know, you're still going to have pretty much the same versions.
Yeah. I guess if you got YouTube music, you can just listen to it like it's an album. It really doesn't matter, does it?
That's right.
All right, this is Raised by Boomers by Buddy Brown, Madison, Mississippi's very own Buddy Brown, right here on 103.9 WYAB.
What's going on, everybody? You know, about a month ago, some prepubescent little kid had commented on one of my videos that was talking about, you know, old-time wisdom and sayings, and it was a very conservative video, and the kid wrote, "Okay, whatever, boomer." I'm thinking, boomer? For the record, I actually fall under the category of a millennial, which I can't even believe I'm saying that, because up here I'm about 50. But I kind of took it as a compliment. This is one of my favorite songs that will be on the next album. It's called Raised by Boomers. Hit like if that's you. Here we go. If I don't loot, if I don't steal, if I don't look for no free meals, if I ain't living with my folks at 35, if I don't blame it all on privilege, if pain is something I can live with, if my mama whooped my ass when I was out of line, it's 'cause I came from the old school. I remember all my roots. Ronald Reagan in the White House back when Caitlin went by Bruce. Every kid I knew went fishing summertime. The bass hit sooner. If I became a firecracker, it's 'cause I was raised by boomers. I work all day long till sundown. If I don't care about your pronouns, if I don't listen to country after about 95, if I skin deer on my front lawn, still ain't right since Earnhardt's gone. If I drove 7 hours to see old George Strait live, it's 'cause I came from the old school. I remember all my rules. Ronald Reagan in the White House back when Caitlin went by Bruce. Every kid I knew went fishing summertime. The bass hit sooner. If I became a firecracker, It's 'cause I was raised by a boomer. Yeah, man, I came from the old school. I remember all my roots. Ronald Reagan and the White House back when Caitlin went by Bruce. Every kid I knew went fishing summertime. The bass hit sooner. If I became a firecracker, it's 'cause I was raised by boomers. If I became a firecracker, it's 'cause I was raised by boomers.
All right there. That's Raised by Boomers by Mr. Buddy Brown. You can find that on his YouTube at Buddy Brown Music. All right, you can go to buddybrownmusic.com and find his YouTube, find everything there. Buddy, that's a good song, brother.
And you see there's no, baby, won't you come out to the pasture at midnight and drink a beer, just got off work, wear that jean skirt I like. None of that.
They could at least talk
just
about
real life.
They could at least talk about getting stuck on purpose in a mud hole if they're gonna do this kind of stuff.
Right, right. If
Yeah.
you're just going out to the, the middle of a field, you're not doing it right.
I mean, like if you didn't get stuck on purpose, you didn't
Yeah.
really get stuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember
You-
Duck Dynasty? You look out in the middle of a field and you see a truck stuck out there, you know what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Liberation.
Yes. Look, I have to tell you what I love about that song is that, my dad is now pushing 75 and I don't have kids. So when my friends are talking about their kids, they'll be like, well, you don't get it because you don't have kids. I'm like, no, but I had good parents.
Yeah.
And that's really what a lot of that song made me think of was growing up with parents that taught us the right way to live, at least by what we're doing, and that's why I got a little misty-eyed, I admit it.
Oh, yeah, it's easy. All right, hey, we got a call here. Hey, caller, you're on there.
Clay, how you doing, bud? This is Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. I just wanted to call in. Just jumped in my truck and heard Buddy on the radio, and wanted to tell him hello. And now I got to go. I got to go download that one too because I had his first one. So,
Well, yeah, man, it's on his YouTube
he's a
there.
great guy, great family. So, like I said, just wanted to call in and say hello. Buddy, if you don't recognize the voice, it's from Fellowship Group.
Jerry, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, great to hear from you. How you doing?
I can't complain. Sorry I hadn't seen y'all in a while, but when I heard you on the radio, I said, oh, wow, somebody I actually know that's famous.
Shoot, yeah. Hey, if you ever got to have a tow truck pulled out in the middle of the night, Jerry's your man right there.
Awesome.
Oh, ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no doubt.
Appreciate the shameless plug, man. Y'all be blessed.
All right, Jerry,
You
appreciate
too, buddy.
you, brother. Good dude there, man. Jerry calls into the show a good bit. All right,
I love Jerry.
we're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show on 103.9 WYAB. Back to the Clay Edwards Show. We got about 3 or 4 minutes left here with Buddy Brown and Therese Apel. So put the notes up. Just thought we'd kind of shoot the bull for a minute here, kind of land the plane for the day. Thank both these guys and girls for coming out. I use the guys as
Generic
a catchphrase.
guys is fine with me.
And, again, local independent artists, content creators supporting one another. Buddy, we appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, this is awesome. And, just being out here off of, well, can I say where you
Oh,
are?
yeah.
I mean, off of 49, just watching the cars. But, I'm like, these are my people right here.
Yeah, look, man, we're right here at the, what's the name of that shop? Cotton Exchange Plaza.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything more Mississippi than the Cotton
just
Exchange
get a
Plaza?
bait shop next door and like a,
We got a flag store down there that sells all kinds of flags.
Yeah.
And it's just got everything in the shopping center you could possibly need. The gas station over here sells those good sausage and biscuits we had this morning.
Man, those things are so
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
guns, bail bonds, and bait. That's all you need. Keep old Mississippi running.
There is a bell bondsman in the shopping center. I do know that.
Yeah.
A Mexican restaurant and a bell bondsman in WYAB.
Here we are in Florida, folks.
And there's a veterinarian down here too.
Yeah.
So look, buddy, how can everybody find you, man?
First, I would, if you're streaming any kind of music, I'd do Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all the videos you get to watch it just raw. And hey, we need more of a Mississippi presence. So if you're listening out there, it's great having people from all over the nation, but I would love some hometown folks starting to follow and chiming in from time to time too, because this is who we are, and it's a great thing to be able to take it out there to the nation.
Yeah, ain't no doubt about it, man. Look, we appreciate you coming in, and look, open door policy here. Anytime you want to come on and shoot the breeze with us, man, if you want to get up early and come out here, which I'm sure a guy like yourself, you probably wake up early every morning anyway.
Yeah, gotta get these kids to school.
Yeah, you're probably already 2-3 hours in. Yeah. I try to push it to the last minute. 5:30 is about as late as or about as early as I'm getting up. But you're welcome to come on the show anytime. Therese, as always, thank you for coming in and
anytime
spending a Tuesday morning with us. What you got planned for the day?
Oh, boy. Well, we've got some sales meetings and things like that. But hopefully I've got a big commercial that we're editing that will make our front lines a little more interesting and fun. So we'll know more about that later on today.
Hey, look, one thing I wanted to end this with was I really enjoyed your video about liberal buzzword drinking games. So you left a couple off.
Hit me with them.
Safe and effective.
Safe and effective.
That's worth a double shot.
Yeah.
Literally.
Uh-huh.
They love that word.
Do they? I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, no. Well, I'm about to tie it together here with another one. Literally Nazis.
Yeah.
They love that one. That's a double shot. And I added lived experiences to it since our conversation. Those are other liberal buzzwords.
Yeah.
All right, look, man, Mike Madison's coming up next here on 103.9 WYAB. If you missed any of this show, it'll be available on the podcast here shortly. And if you don't have a podcast home, just go to ClayEdwardsShow.com. Any and all things Clay Edwards there. BuddyBrownMusic.com. DarkHairsPressNow.com. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow at 7 a.m. as the Clay Edwards Show discusses all that is going on in and around the city of Jackson.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Right here on 103.9 WYAB.
You almost got it.